And today let us discuss Amauruca to Mary in the Valley of the Kings along the Mississippi River from Chicago to New Orleans to Memphis. Let's talk about how the empire was taken over and what this empire was. The empire of the children of the sun, a benevolent civilization that existed approximately 200 years ago before being overthrown and before being reset. The empires of Queen Khalifa and the empires of all the queens of the known structures that have been demolished and destroyed still remain, and some are still intact, and this is why our genetic muscle memory is being activated. This history has been intentionally erased from history and is being maintained and kept a secret by modern elites and bloodlines who know the truth but refuse to tell it to the so-called black man and woman in America in order to keep them psychologically enslaved and in a state of denigration. This civilization harvested free energy straight from the atmosphere, and they had advanced technologies that have now been taken over and reissued as new inventions. Historians, European historians, racist historians will have you believing that America was founded over the last 150 years to 200 years by Europeans, and all the structures you see were built by them. But this can be no further from the truth. I think black people would be shocked to find out that the names of the buildings were even stolen, and they were reordered and reassigned to people who actually didn't own the names themselves. In order to conquer an empire, you don't have to bulldoze every building or burn down every library. In fact, all you have to do is change the names and change the imagery of the people who actually were the original owners. And over time, it will be known as yours. I mean, within a generation or two that passes, nobody knows who the previous owners were, and nobody knows anything about anything other than what the current people who are in control tells them. And this is exactly how they took over the empire, by stealing names, identities, family bloodlines, and inheriting castles and empires that wasn't theirs, but became theirs through the conquering of the names, the bloodlines, and the identities of the original inheritors. And as we travel down this narrow corridor of history, it should be understood that the English language was the black man's language, that all languages originate with the children of the sun. So the English names that they told you were not your names are actually your people's names, and they designate history here, and history that dates from Europe and as well as to the empires overseas, because all of these empires were interconnected. So the names and the languages and the root tongues that were spoken were all created by the children of the sun.